Okay, I'm going to walk you through the install of this application. I know you need to sign up for 3 accounts: Cloudflare, Anthropic, and OpenAI. I'm actually going to do a 4th as well, ElevenLabs. It has another additional voice that I really like, and I think most people would like it too. So we're gonna go to ElevenLabs. So there's actually several things that we're going to set up. So before I can even start the installer, I've got to go and install some free accounts all over the place. Again, this is more work than downloading an app from the App Store. I know it is. It absolutely is something that's more complicated. Yes, it is. But you're not downloading an app. You're setting up a private infrastructure that you own that costs almost nothing to run, with no monthly fee or company that can read your private messages. So I think this is well worth your time to do these steps. Now I am setting up a really quick text file here. We have to go obtain a whole bunch of API keys. The first thing we're going to be doing is setting up a Cloudflare account. You just have to create an account. The easiest way to do that is to use your Gmail as your account setup. So I've already done this under Cloudflare. I've created an account, so I'm logging in as my Gmail account. As you can see here, it's an account that I share with my wife. And from here, we need to create an API key. Now, this is a free Cloudflare account. Cloudflare, think of it as a place that publishes websites. The Cloudflare account is the most important for you to understand because it is where your memory files will live. It's also where some of the compute will occur and some of the storage will occur. So this is a really important account to keep secure. And what we're going to do from here, we're just using the free account, and we're going to come over and we're going to go to Profile. And here we're going to go to API tokens, and we're going to create an API token. And this one, we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're not going to open up to the world. We're going to give it the least amount of credentials so that we can keep your Cloudflare and your memory files completely private. So I'm going to create token. And here I'm going to create a custom token. So we're going to click get started. And it really doesn't matter what you call this, but I'm going to call this Whozoo custom token. And here we're going to set some permissions. The very first permission that we're going to set up is on the account. We're going to go down and set up workers script. So we'll find that in the dropdown, workers scripts. And we'll make sure that this token has edit rights to that. We'll add one more, another account, and we'll set up workers KV storage, which is where we're going to be storing your memory files. Workers KV storage, and this needs edit rights as well. We're going to add another one. This is workers R2 storage. Not really required, but I built into my application the ability to store the installers if you ever need to get back to the installers. There'll be in here if you do enable R2, which is a storage way to store files. So I'm going to go down to workers and R2 storage right here. Not needed, but I recommend doing this. Cloudflare pages, we do need to come down here and give you pages so you can actually view the website that we're going to be creating. So Cloudflare pages. And this also needs to have edit rights. And then finally, we are going to, instead of account, we're going to go to user, and we're going to say API tokens. And this has edit rights as well. This is so the installer can verify the token itself. And in here, it's include all accounts. I think this is totally fine. And we can then hit continue to summary. And we're going to, here's all accounts and users, so that kind of gives you a summary of what we're creating. And we're creating a token. And as soon as this comes up, you must copy this, because once this goes away, you cannot get it back. You'll have to recreate a new one. You can delete it and recreate it, but we're going to copy this, hit that little copy symbol, and I'm going to come down to my text file, and I'm going to put in here my token. Now this is a master key. Don't give this to anyone. Don't let anyone see it. Store this in a password storage file. This is your Cloudflare API key. It's like a master key to get into your system. And this is what the installer will use to set up the entire memory system. All right, now that you're done with Cloudflare, we can now close this out. Now that you have the Cloudflare token, and we're going to go to the next piece in our thing, and we're going to go to Anthropic API. This is the AI. We are using Claude. So Anthropic, console.anthropic.com. So it goes to Platform Claude. And I'm already logged in as my Gmail account. And from here, we go to down at the very bottom where it says the organization. We're going to go to Organization Settings. And from here, you have to set up your organization, but you go down to Billing. This is important. This is where you put money on it. You're creating tokens, and you're going to put a balance in there, and you just put a credit card in there, and it's filling up a bucket. So in this example, I started with $10 in a bucket. I've done this many times. So $10 started in the bucket, and then it pulls away penny by penny from that bucket over months. But this right here is the AI portion of the memory system. So the memory system, you can always get into your memory system, but maybe AI is not available because your bucket's dry. It's not set up correctly. The balance is zero. You still have access to your memory files, but you might not have access to the AI that helps you with your memory files. But you can just buy credits, and you can put on how many credits you want. In this one, I started with $10, and you can adjust your spend limit. So in the month of June, I've spent resets. For the month of May, I've only spent 50 cents. But you can adjust the limit. Say I only want to use this much every month, and you can adjust your limit up to $500. If you get your API key compromised, the only thing that will happen is that you might be compromised on how many someone might be spending billing on your API token. So you might want to adjust this limit down to maybe $10 a month as set your limit, so that it can never spend over that. You can always come in here and adjust it later, but that's a good place to start. So now that you've filled your bucket with a little bit of API tokens, now you got to create an API key. So we're going to go out and do this. Oh, I've already created one. Well, I'm going to delete this key and then create a brand new one. And you'll see what we do here. So I create a key, and just a default key here is fine. And I can call it Huzu. And there's my API key for Anthropic. And I'm going to copy this and hit done. And now I'm going to come out to my ready for install and put my Anthropic key in. Again, these are master keys. You don't want to give these out to anyone. You want to store them. That grants you access into your into Claude. This one, if you compromise this one, they have access to your memory files. OpenAI and the rest of them, it's just billing if someone bills against your what you've already have in your bucket. So now that we're done with Anthropic, let's go get OpenAI. So this is Claude. You're putting tokens in for the use of Claude. All right, so now we're going to go to OpenAI. And I gotta say, OpenAI is the most complicated one to kind of get to understand how to create the get to where you put in, you fill up your bucket with a little bit of tokens. They don't make this easy. I don't know why, but you go to usage. So once you get logged in, you go to usage, and you wait a minute for the usage window to come up. And then on the right side, it says manage and spend alerts. Now, why they made it so complicated, I don't know. But if I go in here, manage spend and alerts, and I click on this, I then have a bunch of limits that I can put in here. If I go to billing, I can now hit put some money into my bucket. So this one has, I've already added some $10 into this bucket. And again, $10 goes a very long way. We're talking fractions of a penny that gets used. This is for the text-to-speech functionality within the application. And it also gives you Marin and Onyx, some of the voices. They're a little bit slower, but they don't cost hardly anything. So you're saying a fraction of a penny for minutes. And it's very, very cheap. And you'll see this go down, tick down very, very slowly. So $10 is plenty for many, many months. Now, once you have that, you do have to go down and create an API key. And this one, you just create new secret key. And we'll call this Hoozu. It doesn't really matter the name. And we'll just leave it default project all. So this is very simple. We'll just say Hoozu, default, and create secret key in your API keys. Okay, so here it is again. Once this window appears, you can never get it back unless you delete it and then recreate this API. So you can create another key, but this key goes away. So I'm going to copy it and hit done. It'll just give you a little bit of window to it, but you don't know what that key is. So it's in my memory right now. So I'm going to come down here and put it down in my Open API key. So there's my OpenAI API key. And now I'm going to go to 11 Labs and get an API key. So we're all about these API keys. We're going to create things. But again, this is a little bit more complicated than setting up, going to an app store and downloading something. We're setting up a private infrastructure. So it may seem complicated, but everything you do here, you own, which is key. And it's secure and it's private. Very important. So now I'm going to go out to 11 Labs. I like 11 Labs. 11labs.io. We're going to log in again. I've already created these accounts, but you just create a new account and you can use your Google to authenticate in. And from this one, we go to here we go down to subscriptions. And this is, I'm going to walk you through this one first. So you go down through subscriptions again. I'm using the free account here. And you'll notice that this gives you 10,000 credits a month. This is about 10 minutes of Brittany and Column. They for about 10 minutes a month. But if you want a little bit more and you like those, and you don't have to get pay for anything. This is a free account. But if you want more, you can go in here and add some credits on an 11 API key. So once you get that, we'll just leave this as 0. And I won't pay for any fees here. So this is absolutely free. Every month, you get 10 minutes more. But from here, we go to, you always have to find the place where API keys are. I believe it's under settings. Nope, I apologize. It's under settings. Down at the very bottom on the left bar, I remember this now, it's under developers. So you click on developers and you go to API keys. And here you create an API key. And the only thing that you need for this is text-to-speech. This is the only thing, and we'll just call this Hoozu. Doesn't matter on the API key team name, but this is the only thing that we're using text-to-speech. Okay, that's the only thing. And if I hit create key, you'll notice it. I'm going to copy this to clipboard. And once I close this, again, it goes away. I can't see it again, but once I have that key, because it's a master key. So now I've got my 11 Labs API key. All right, perfect. Now, once we have all of these API keys, these 4 API keys, we're actually ready to do the install. I know it seems complicated. It really is not. You'll get this understanding that API keys are really important. They're like master locks into environments. But we have 4 API keys, and we're going to use that during the installer. So after we install, we're going to get 2 things from that installer. You're going to get an access key and a URL. This is the URL that you can plug into your phone, to your bookmark, and this is how you open up your application. It's basically your access over the World Wide Web, your own personal URL that you can hit and access your memory files. So once we go through that, we're going to get these 2 things, and you want to secure all of this in a private file. All right, so now you're ready to download either a Windows EXE or Mac. It doesn't really matter which one you use because really these installers, all they do is configure your system. It doesn't mean you're only limited to Windows. Once you install it, you can open it up on a Windows or a Mac, it doesn't matter. But this configures it. And so I've already downloaded the EXE or and so what I'll do is I'll go here on my downloads and you'll see that I've got here the Hoozu setup.exe. And when I execute it, I want you to notice it's going to open a tab on the within your browser as soon as I execute this. And so I opened it up and notice it opened a new tab called the Hoozu setup guide. And it kind of walks you through what you need to do to create all of your accounts, 11 Labs. And it kind of tells you some of the things that you need to know. It's very good to have this setup guide. And if you lost your access key, you can always run the installer again and create a new access key. So there's always a way back, but these master API keys, especially this one, will allow you to get back everything. It's your master key. All right. So now that I double clicked it, you'll notice that here's the installer down below. And it's opened up in the forefront. And it's going to be asking me first, give me your Cloudflare API token. So I'm going to go back to my where I've copied these three things. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Copy. And now I'm going to right click right in there. I just right clicked and pasted that in there. And now that that's pasted into the installer, I can hit enter. All right, so now it's saying we'll need a few more things to set this up. You're going to have to put a name in. This is what Claude or the AI will refer to you as. So when I have these things, and I already have them all, I have my name, my Anthropic API, and my OpenAI. I also have 11 Labs, but we'll let the last for that in just a moment. So I'm going to just make this full screen so we can get this nice contrast on the installer. Okay. So now I'm going to hit ready, enter. So now it says my first name. I'm going to put in my name is Hans. And now I need the Anthropic API, and it starts with sk-ant. So here's my Anthropic key. I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste that right in there and hit enter. Now it's asking for my OpenAI API key. That's a very long one. For some reason, they made it super long. And I'm going to paste that in here. And now it says 11 Labs. It's optional, but I'm going to put it in there because I like these two voices. And hit enter. And now it's creating everything. It's hitting your Cloudflare. And it's actually going through that API token. It's installing your memory system. It's deploying everything and setting up your entire, how the application works. Now, this is key. Stop here because you've got a few things that it's telling you. Save these two things. You'll need them to log in. Right. So it's asking you to save this URL. This is your access URL that it created for you. And it wants you to create, there's your access key. Now that you can always regenerate the access key by running the installer again, but this is you'll need this for that first time login. And if you want to do anything else within the application, you can use this access key. So I'm going to copy that and we're going to paste that there. Wow, we are done with the install. So how do you get to your application? Well, let's do a few things. So I've got my URL. So now I can copy this. I'm going to open up my browser, paste this URL. You've got your own personal URL. And as soon as I log in here, it says this is your worker URL. You need your access key. So you're going to go grab that really quick. You're going to need that for this first time login. Create your access key. You're going to paste this in here. And then you need a passphrase. And this is what the passphrase you use to log in every time. You don't have to type in the access key. The passphrase is something that you like, your password. How are you going to get into this? So I'm going to put in my own password here. So, and then once I hit setup, I am done with the install. And it created, now you are up and live. This is you are now running your own memory system right now. It's 0% in your context window, but it's giving you a couple of things to do. I just met such and such a company, and the fragment, there's a whole bunch of information. How do you get started to enter in information? So I just met Tommy at work, Tommy Jones at work, and he is responsible for all HR related things. So I'm just going to hit enter in there, and the very first thing it's going to do, it's thinking, and I'll add my first record in here, a new RecPeople record for Tommy Jones. And it put in here, it says role, HR related responsibilities. And if I hit save, I have now created my very first 8-bit record within the system. And I can recall that memory at any time. So if let me clear this out, I can say, who do I need to talk to about HR issues? You should talk to Tommy Jones. All right. Right there, and I can click on the view sources and see where that record is, and I can edit it immediately and modify it if I need to, or hit cancel. You have now created your very first memory system file, and it's from here, the sky's the limit. So yes, it is a little bit more complicated to create and install than going to an app store and installing. But again, what you're doing, you're not just downloading an app, you're setting up a private infrastructure that you own that costs almost nothing to run, and with no monthly fees and no company reading your private data. So by the way, anytime that you want to know the costs of things, you can type in costs and /costs, and it will tell you, by setting up this very first thing, it's cost me 1 penny. So there you can kind of understand the cost. And my context window is in app 4. I can always clear my context window and get back to only my memory files by hitting this return. And you'll notice that even right now, after I reset my context, my memory file system is very, very small. If I hit diagnostic, it's showing that I'm using 0.03 in a people record. So very, very small. And all I did to do that was click on my tokens, and you can kind of see that that we're installing everything into a context window. I'm going to talk geek out a little bit about context windows. We're in the age of AI. Claude has a default context window of 200,000 tokens. What does that mean? People try to understand what is tokens. Tokens can be understood as a word almost, but 200,000 tokens is about 2 books. If you think of size-wise, it's about 2 Harry Potter books. It's a lot of words, 200,000 words. It might be very similar in size to maybe The Great Gatsby, maybe 2 of those books. I don't know. It's a lot of information that you can put in a context window. Most memory systems that are out there, they're using what they call vector files, or RAG. I rejected that for the plain and purpose of I want my memories to be accurate every time I recall them. Because I'm loading the entire corpus of my memory files into the context window at the very beginning, it means I have access to everything. The AI knows everything about you from that main context window. There's no lookup, there's no RAG that's occurring. I'm not dumping everything into a massive haystack. A lot of these companies nowadays, like Plot or some of the other competitors that do memory systems, they put on this device that records everything around you, and they dump everything into a vector database, and then you do RAG. Yes, the data is there, but is it accurate all the time? Not necessarily. Some of the information that gets back, it's trying to interpret it, and it's fairly accurate, but it's making its best guess. When you load the entire corpus of your memory into the context window, it is accurate. It almost diminishes down to nothing hallucinations. So it's a very accurate way to recall. I'm not saying that vector files and RAG is bad. In fact, we may incorporate that in a future version for our deep memory files. I may be able to do that in a vector database, and it might be something that we explore. But in the time being, there's cost to doing all of that. There's cost to setting up compute for vector files and that RAG style querying that most AI uses. But when you load it all up into the context window, it knows everything at the same time immediately about you. Okay. So I just want to say, if this looks useful to you, you can go to Huzhu app. Who's Who in My Zoo is where it came from, and it's self-hosted memory app, and it's great. I think I built it myself, and in turn, it's something I want to share with as many people as I can. If it saves you time or gives you back some of that mental bandwidth, or just means you never blank on someone's name again, I hope it's worth 20 minutes of your time to install. If you want to support this project, there's a Venmo link in the site. It's totally optional, but it's always appreciated. This took a lot of time for me to kind of model out and put together, and I am excited to share it with you. So if you have any questions, you can throw them in a comment in the chat of this video, and we can go from there. I thank you, and I hope you can find value in this memory system.